Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and today, the fifth and final episode of our series, we are talking to the professionals in the coffee industry, not the business owners. Maybe we talk a little bit to the business owners, but business owners, please be mindful of what we're going to talk about today. In today's episode, we are going to help employees in the industry navigate the challenging times of the recession that is coming. We don't know when the recession is coming. It is coming, and it's a matter of how hard it's going to hit. Employees being in a vulnerable position, I felt it important that we dedicate a full episode to helping particularly the most vulnerable in our industry, which is baristas and roasters. We want to help give you or empower you with some possible strategies and tools to help navigate the challenging time ahead based on the problems that I believe you are most likely to experience. So let's do it. This podcast is brought to you by Map It Forward's new Patreon community, the Global Coffee Think Tank. Check the show notes or head to patreon.com/Map It Forward to find out how you can become a member today. Alrighty, so in the first episode of this series, I spoke about the problems that I believe that most staff in our industry are likely to experience, and that is the flow-on effects of inflation, anxiety, a decrease in motivation, and a limited understanding of exactly what's going on with the financials and economics of what's going on. So how can we help you prepare or come up with some solutions for those potential challenges so that it's not that you're not going to feel the impact of this recession. Every one of us is going to feel the impact of this recession, because I believe that the ramifications of our addiction to debt and our addiction to money printing and our addiction to all of consumerism and all this extra stuff, we have kicked the can down the road in having to deal with the ramifications of those things. And we are going to experience some of that now. I don't know that we're going to experience the full extent to it. I don't know that the people who are responsible for making sure that we pay the dues that we have to for the silly activities that we've undergone as different economies, I don't know that they have the backbone to let things play out the way they need to. So they keep bailing things out. Big banks, big business. And so essentially what the big problem is, and why I really do believe that we are going to have very challenging times ahead, is because the way that markets work, anything that shouldn't work in a market usually plays out by failing, and the bad actors end up going out of business. When you bail the bad actors out, when you save them from collapsing, you stop the problems from being solved, and you allow them to continue going. Furthermore, what ends up happening is their behavior shifts, where they typically would have thought, I don't have to worry about getting into trouble or failing when I do something stupid from an economic perspective. If I take on too much debt, a government's going to bail me out anyway. And so here we are, not just from the recent pandemic, but also from the 2008 crash and the crashes that came before that and the crashes in between. So if you're an employee, you are likely to experience this different than a business owner, because your responsibilities are different and your vulnerability is different. In a time when there's a labor shortage, you may feel a false sense of security in your job. And what I would encourage you to do is, first and foremost, consider what it is that you want your role to be in the coffee industry. If it's just to have a job, you need to align yourself with a business that is looking for people that just want people to have a job. If you want to be part of a business that you can navigate this recession with, it's time to find a business that you believe has got the wherewithal to withstand the challenges that are ahead. If you are already in that business, it is time to start asking yourself the question, how can I be the best asset I can be to this business? And for everybody that is an employee, that is the question that you need to be asking yourself as you move ahead for whenever this recession hits. I would like to think that that's the question an employee would ask themselves every single day that they're at a business, but that's a deeper issue that involves employers as well as employees. If you're an employer listening to this, it is time to start thinking about, how do I make sure that my employees want to stay during this recession? Because here lies the vulnerability. If you're an employee and you don't know that, and you're not confident that your employer has the smarts, the grit, the confidence, and the business know-how to survive a recession, you are most likely going to look for somewhere else that you think will. And given we're in a labor shortage with inflation for labor, it's going to be very easy to do that. Much easier than it's ever been at any other time in our industry's history. So if you are looking to make that change, make sure that you find someone that when you turn up, you are very clear before you accept the job what it is they need from you and how you can be the best asset to this business. Now, for everybody, the idea is, beyond being able to roast coffee, or beyond being able to package coffee, or beyond being able to brew coffee, we need to ask ourselves the question, how can I add value that goes beyond what automation would be able to offer? The reason I say this is because what's coming is, as businesses become aware that they need to save money and the labor shortage isn't going to change, they're going to look to automation to fix these problems. What can you do as an employee to add the greatest value to this business so nobody ever wants to lose you as an employee? And the best way to do that is the following 4 things. Have really, really great customer service. The kind of customer service that is in alignment with the values of the business that you work for and is what your customers are looking for. The second thing, work on learning how to sell. So if you can maximize every engagement you have with a customer to solve the problems that they might be having, listen to them, have interactions with them, ask them open questions that give you the information that you need to help sell more. If you can do this, you increase your value to the business. The third thing, solve problems for everybody. Solve problems for yourself, solve problems for your customer, solve problems for your employer, solve problems for your teammate and for your suppliers. And when you are an employee that's constantly focused on solving problems that are within the scope of your job, it is harder to let you go than it is to keep you. It's excruciating to let people go that want to stay and are very good at solving problems. If I'm an employer and I have to cut my labor costs, I'm certainly not going to look first at the people who are doing the best for my business. That's just not a reality. And the final thing that you can do to navigate this time as an employee is to show leadership when it's required. Leadership is all about how you can best meet a moment so that everybody wins. Show authority when you need to show authority. Take a step back and listen when you need to take a step back. Take action when you need to take action. And this is obviously a learnt skill. Communication plays a big, big role in this. But you will get there if you start practicing. It's going to be a challenging time. But if you start to put together a plan, whether you're an employee or an employer, you will survive this. We're all going to be affected. But I invite you to consider that there are a wealth of opportunities anytime struggle exists. If you can solve problems during those times, you will maintain your value, whether it's as a business or whether it's as an employee. And managing your mindset to be focused on solving problems rather than just hoping and praying and wishing. If you focus on positivity, everything will be fine. I think that you're going to be great if you're focused on problem solving than on the empty positivity that you could lean into. I hope you found this series helpful. And I wish you luck. Next series will be not just me. Okay then. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks, friends. If you enjoyed this video, here's what you should check out next. Consider supporting Map It Forward on Patreon and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell before you leave.